Yeah. So how'd you end up choosing University of Washington and choosing that industrial engineering program that they have? Were there some important factors that you considered whenever choosing that university?
It was the best school I got into. They say pick two reachers, two easy ones, and two, surely you should get ins. That was the best one I got into. To be honest, that was away from my parents,
Yeah.
away from Hawaii. Little did I notice it's cold and dreary out there, and I kind of stuck it out for a long time up there. But I mean, USC Washington was a general school. They had bunch of engineering programs and business and all kinds of stuff. So it wasn't like going and being pigeonholed into like a school that just had good engineering. And you know, it, not gonna lie, and I think there's gonna be a theme in this interview is I had a good it was in Seattle, it wasn't in the middle of nowhere, and I had a good party. It was a decent party school, and why you go to college, I think. I mean, looking back, I didn't really learn too much in college that I apply to today or even in my career. But you know, getting into college, the first couple years, the way it worked in there's like you go through all like the normal intro classes, that your maths, your chemistries, your physics. Oh my goodness, and you you have to apply in the sophomore year to get into your school. So of course, I call this kind of the bookshelf. Like on the top shelves are your better or more competitive degrees, such as what was it, electrical engineering. Oh, chemical engineering is at the top. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's the hardest one. And then you have computer, mechanical, civil. So I I wanted to move back to Hawaii. I don't know where that idea came from, just because I wanted to move back home eventually, which actually did end up happening because I wanted to be warm. And in Hawaii, you have a lot of civil engineering because the military is out here, so
Hmm.
you got like good government jobs. So I kind of started out as mechanical and civil was the idea. And part of this was like the first quarter, I just got blown out of the water with like they make you do computer science engineering, and
Oh man,
it's like, what is this? Like, who are these people?
you could
Um,
never do it. Yeah.
I was always like maybe top 20% in my high school class, but I quickly realized what a curve is and how I was slightly at the lower of the crest.
Yeah.
Wasn't horrible, but like, man, like it kind of puts you in your place, right? And throughout the years, I had a rough like or second or third quarter of freshman year, and we were doing, I did AP calculus in high school,
Yeah.
and it allowed me to kind of skip a couple of quarters. But I wish I didn't do that because I wish I would have repeated because I would have padded my GPA. So that was kind of silly. I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to skip and save money. But in this case, it hurt me because you need to get those easy classes done for you because you've done it before to pad your GPA to be able to apply for these colleges, these once you're into the college
The
later on.
major, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't have that opportunity, so I kind of got like beat up in GPA wise. So my aspirations of going mechanical engineering, civil engineering, kind of went away, and because you really need to have like a mid three
Yeah.
five GPA, and I was like in the low threes, and there was a while there where like freshman year that summer, where it was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. And of course, like most of my buddies who had aspirations of being in college, exactly what they tell you. Half of them drop out or go to some other easier degree and don't make it. And this is where sophomore year I've discovered industrial engineering because it was easier to get in. Let's all not kid ourselves here. But like there was like a one seminar I did, and like they brought in the guy from Starbucks, and who doesn't like Starbucks, right? Well, maybe not today, but back then they were cool, right? Like
Yeah.
I remember, that was when Howard Schultz was like in there, and like one of my friends from college, like, she interned there, and she was like, "Yeah, I see Howard all the time. Yeah, he talks to me all the time, as an intern." So that was the
So
cool days
cool.
of Starbucks. But they came in, they talked about like, like time studying, and like how they did like the drive back then. They didn't have the drive-throughs, but they were testing the drive-throughs, and I was like, "This is cool. This is exactly what I like because I'm more of a systems process
Yeah.
guy. I'm pretty. I can be a little anal in terms of like optimizing things. I like things kind of clean and orderly. People know about like Kaizen. I think it's 5S where sort, organize, and it was kind of up my alley. And part of that, I think you're gonna see a theme here too. Like when I got into the workforce, I just like to get my stuff done and go, right? So
Yeah.
efficiency is a big part of what I like to do for really the end goal. So that I went down that track, and I luckily got in. And once you're into college, you're able to kind of cruise for a couple of years.
I'm not
Um,
complaining, nah, I'm not complaining. My thoughts get complicated, I cannot explain in lameness. Never losing focus because I ain't chasing payments. Still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.